So Peter Schrager, everybody knows Peter Schrager, now with ESPN, long time with the NFL Network.
Give us your thoughts on him.
Peter, what, you don't think I like him?
I don't know if you like him.
Did I not like him? I like Peter.
I think you think he's a little...
Smarmy?
Yes.
Sometimes he comes off a little smarmy, but he's connected. He does fine.
He does.
He's good with this mock draft. I'm okay with Peter. There's more guys I hate more than Peter.
And he was always good to us.
He was nice. So, I got no problem with Peter.
I know. I was just
he's an odd duck, but all right, whatever. Everybody.
Aren't we all?
I'm an odd duck. Yeah. So Peter does like one, as opposed to some of these guys do 1,000 mock drafts. He does his one mock draft every year.
Two.
Two. And he bases it on what he's hearing in the rumor mill. And he actually hit a decent amount last year.
Yeah.
And Mike set this up for us.
Yeah, so I'm going to run through 3 graphics for you. I'm going to show you his top 6 picks, which includes the Browns at number 6. Then we're going to show you his other pick for the Browns at 24. And then I want to show you some of the picks he hit on last year, because he had a couple names to the team specific at the exact spot that no one else was talking about. So once again, this is not his mock of who I think they should take. This is what I'm hearing at this point based off the intel. So his top 6 looks like this. Fernando Mendoza 1. That's going to happen. He had David Bailey going to the Jets.
Thanks for telling us that, Mike.
You're welcome.
I mean, if you didn't say that was going to happen, we would have never known that.
That's what I'm here for, both for confirmation.
Yeah.
David Bailey going 2 to the Jets. Arvell Reese going 3 to the Cardinals. Jeremiah Love going 4 to the Titans. The Giants taking Francis Malioga at 5, and the Browns taking Spencer Fano, the offensive lineman who played tackle.
Yeah.
Both left and right, guard and possibly center at the combine, to the Browns at number 6.
Now, Zach, I know you've said that you believe they're going to take Carnell Tate in this mock draft.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate would be available.
Yeah, so I've been in some mocks where Carnell Tate was available, and that's who I picked. But if those are the top 5, then I believe it will be Tate or Fano, barring a trade down.
Okay.
You know, so that makes a lot of sense.
So Peter's not off. But
No.
And
look, you know, when you hear about Fano being asked to work out at center at the combine, that doesn't necessarily scream number 6 pick in the draft.
Right.
But you have a screaming need on offensive line. He's athletic. He's young. He's versatile. The one thing we know about the Browns, they're picking a 21-year-old. Age matters, athleticism, athletic profile matters, right? And really, when you think about the Browns, as long as they draft a good player, especially on the offensive line, it's not about where he fits this September or November. That's
a fair point.
Right? The slate's wide open. So is he the opening day left tackle? If he's mature enough, sure. I have no problem with that pick. I think in that situation, I lean towards Tate, but I don't know.
Are you leaning that way because you think that's what the Browns are leaning, or do you think Tate is the better football player?
I think both.
Okay.
I think both. I think from what I've been able to gather, I think they view Carnell Tate higher. But again, Carnell Tate could go 3 or 4 in this draft, or 5. You know,
is the question about Tate? It seems to me that Tate might have the safest floor of any player in this draft.
That's what I think. I mean,
do you question the ceiling being high enough? Is that it?
Yeah, I think the only question is like he's not Jamar Chase.
Right.
But is he T. Higgins? And would you take T. Higgins at number 6, Dustin? Because I sure would.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this about Ohio State receivers that played under Brian Hartline. That you know that they're going to come to the league like ready to go right now. And I think Carnell Tate, if he comes to the Browns, would be the most polished, legit, close to number 1 receiver they've had in the last 15 years.
I agree. And look, if he's ultimately your number 2, but has a good career, like that's a good pick, right? Yeah. You have a screaming deficiency.
We've drafted Justin Gilbert. We've drafted. I mean, give me some of the names we've drafted top 10. I mean,
Danny Shelton, was he top 10?
He was third.
Right outside.
Corey Coleman,
right outside the top 10. Corey Coleman was they traded down.
He was
15. Coleman was 15.
Either way, these guys all were bums, dude. I mean, let's get us a legitimate, bona fide, like 8-year guy.
So Ohio State Pro Day is always a big deal.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Because in this year I didn't have a specific excitement. I was going to see who was there, right? But I wanted to see Carnell Tate in person because I went to one game, but I sat in row 322. Like this guy looks the part, right?
Yeah.
He's big enough. He's got long arms. He didn't pop this 40 that is off the charts. No one cares. He can run.
Right.
He goes and makes contested catches. Like his track record says he was there in almost every game except the end of last year. He had a great visit with the Browns. Like there's nothing in his background. Like this is a clean prospect. This is a good player.
Yeah.
If he's your number 1, that's great. It's a home run. But this is a guy that can help your offense right now and well into the future.
Is T. Higgins the comp for him?
That's mine, yes.
Yeah, now T. Higgins was a high second-round pick. I think he might have been the first pick.
The first pick of the second round.
Right, and I think he went a little lower because he didn't have the big-time speed.
Right.
And he's an excellent player. He's been injury-prone, which has stopped him from being even better maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, that first year there was no chase when he was there, and he was good. I mean, listen, if you draft a guy at 6, you want him to be a superstar. Is T. Higgins a superstar? He's not. Is he very good? Right. Yes. Right. Compared to the Browns draft history, if Carnell Tate became T. Higgins, would you be okay with that? I would. Would I rather him be Jamar Chase? Yeah. There's no Jamar Chase in this draft.
The names of all these minor league baseball players that you keep handy, right? Yeah. You would love them to come in and hit 40 home runs.
Yes.
They come in and hit 40 doubles. Is it pretty good, Bull?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. They hit 25 home runs when the Guardians haven't had a guy hit 20 in the outfield in forever.
The Browns have done their work on Carnell Tate, and he's going to be on that list. No, I think Spencer Fano is also.
Yeah.
And I think that I feel really strongly that the team prefers to trade down just to add assets, and just because I don't think they're stuck to one guy.
Yeah.
But the Schrager mock that says Spencer Fano, or my thought of Carnell Tate, I believe that if they sit at 6, it'll be one of those two guys.
Okay.
So that was the first pick.
Yeah.
The second pick in the Schrager Intel-based mock was Casey Concepcion, the receiver out of Texas A&M. He's one of those receivers in that tier below the Carnell Tate, the Makai Lemon, but a guy who likes. And just to put a little validity to Schrager when he does this kind of thing, last year he nailed 7 exact picks in the first round. Cam Ward,
to be fair, everybody knew Cam. I'm not counting Cam.
The first 3 you can kind of throw out. He was the only person that called Tyler Booker to the Cowboys. The only person. Gray Zabel at 18, Matthew Golden going 23 to the Green Bay Packers, and he called the Jackson Dart trade with the Giants, with the Rams.
It's pretty ridiculous to get anything after. Honestly, anything after the first 2. Is remarkable.
Those last 4 especially.
Zach knows when we did our mock back when we first started with the Athletic back in the day, and I picked Corey Davis to the Titans at 5, and I was like, I got that right.
Yeah.
Because it's freaking hard to nail these things down. I don't know how many we got right, but it was not many.
Well, and then one pick early that
throws everything off.
Screws the whole thing up.
No, sure.
By the way, the fan is still doing the mock draft thing.
Are they really?
I heard them. Jonathan and Nick, I texted them. I'm like, you guys still doing that thing? That was cheesy then.
Like at the Wing Warehouse?
I don't think that place exists anymore.
It does not. But anyway. I mean, like, remember we did that? Daryl was the commissioner.
He wore
his button in the suit.
He was dressed up.
Oh my God, he was a good dog.
Anyway,
Zach, what do you think of Casey Concepcion?
Casey Concepcion. What do you think of him compared to the other wide receivers?
So he's a guy that I've had targeted. He can fly.
Yeah.
I thought he might be the Zay Flowers for Todd Monken. He went to the combine, and he's actually bigger than Zay Flowers. But so there's a little question about his drops and his overall production. But he can fly. Again, fits the Browns profile.
Yeah.
Super high on the athletic charts. Young, productive. Like he's going to go in that range. Now he did have a knee issue, so I'm not sure where that stands, and you want to be sure on that, obviously. So we haven't seen him through the workout process, but based on what he did last season.
Yeah,
like 24 is about where it ends, and or about where it fits. And if they're going tackle at 6, then everybody's going to point to wide receiver. So is it Concepcion? Is it Boston? Is it Omar Cooper?
Yeah. Who do you like the most of those guys? You think Tyson might get the? Because I know at one point we were talking about Tyson versus Tate.
No chance, Tyson. The injury history, and there's some questions about.
Sounds like a boxing match.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody knows. There's a lot of posturing, right? Like some people project Omar Cooper bottom of the 2nd. Some people project him bottom of the 1st. Like at that point of the draft, that's a wide range.
Yeah.
But Concepcion before this knee thing popped up was always in this range, 18, 21, 24, something like that. So like I said, I think Todd Monken might look and say, this is my Zay Flowers.
Yeah. How much say do you think Todd Monken has?
I wonder. And he should have a lot. And he should have almost all the say in any quarterback.
Yeah. I would say offense, period.
But it's one of those mysteries.
Yeah.
And some of it is just, look, he's new here, and these are the dynamics, but it doesn't appear to anyone on the outside that they targeted Todd Monken and hired him and said, we'd love you to make a bunch of decisions here, Coach.
Right. Yeah. That's
so
true.
We'll see.
Would you wouldn't consider Makai Lemon over Tate, would you?
Not me, but there is a lot of love out there in the Daniel Jeremiah scouting circles for Makai Lemon.
Right.
So
right.
That if the Browns trade down, I think Lemon and Tate make sense.
Right.
Now, are the Saints letting Tate go, or the Chiefs letting Tate go? I think Tate probably does not go any lower than 9. But Mekhi Lemon is the next guy up, or some team, it wouldn't be stunned if
Right.
the Chiefs took him in.
Just has what better measurables and more upside than Tate. People think like this
More
guy
production.
could
Yeah, but
develop into.
They fed him the ball more, whereas
Yeah.
Ohio State had a lot of mouths
Right.
to feed, including a guy that's going to be a top 3 pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, if the Browns did trade down to 10 or 12 with Cincinnati or Dallas, one of those, either Lemon or Tate might be there. One of them
And
might.
Spencer Fano might be there also.
Spencer,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why it just makes sense.
right. Who else needs an offensive lineman in that range? Is
Well, from the realm of everybody needs offensive linemen.
Okay, sure.
The Chiefs are on a big search.
Yeah.
They're just like they're 3 picks behind the Browns, and they need a wide receiver or an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They also might go corner. They just traded one, so
yeah,
there's so much mystery here.
they lost their starting safety.
I'm trying to
too.
relate this to a previous draft where there's so much mystery between 2 and 5.
Yeah.
And some of it is there's just lack of sizzle with these guys, and some of it is the teams like the Browns, the Titans, the Cardinals, who don't have to go in one direction. The Jets are going defense because they're in a total rebuild and they're rebuilding their defense. Like the Browns and potentially other teams, they're going to be in the quarterback derby next year. But we know they're going defense. Arizona, Tennessee, Browns probably are going offense.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't have to be a left tackle or have to be a wide receiver because you can address that stuff later.
Why is it that this draft feels like there's like not a ton of household names? Like, not is it because of college football and how it's that landscape has changed?
Yeah,
That
But
it's
next
made-
year's supposed to be
well, who were the
massive
household
draft.
names in college football this
Yeah.
year? A lot of them aren't in this draft.
Yeah.
And a lot of these top guys are offensive linemen. And it just doesn't make for good
Right.
arguing.
It's just
sake.
well, and
Good
in
highlight reels.
Cleveland, we obviously talk a lot of draft, and
Yeah.
we have for a long time, and it does kind of stink when you don't. Like everyone doesn't have like 15 guys or 10 guys that every little thing about. I mean,
Right.
Right, because Arvell Reese kind of came out of nowhere on a
Yeah,
national
yeah,
scale.
yeah.
Like Sonny Styles, I cannot get over what he looks like in person. I thought I was looking at Myles Garrett at Pro Day. But he wasn't the best linebacker on his own college team, and they got beat in the quarterfinals, Dustin. So you're right.
Yeah.
So it's not there. Like that, just kind of that outright.
Like, even-
Abdul
even-
Carter introduced himself last year
Yeah.
in the playoffs. Jeremiah Love introduced himself last year in the playoffs. This year, Notre Dame didn't make the playoff.
Right.
Even Mendoza, who's going to be the unanimous #1 overall pick, looks like Kirk Cousins to me.
He doesn't feel like a sure thing to me.
I mean, he'll
But it makes for a
probably-
great argument. Would you
Yeah.
take Kirk Cousins at number? If Kirk Cousins wasn't 38 years old or whatever he is,
Yeah,
would you
come
take
back
I
Kirk?
wouldn't.
instead of being a 4th-round pick. Yeah,
But like, if the Browns had 8 years of Kirk Cousins, couldn't you make the playoffs and maximize this defense? You
could have.
rather than being this circus that you
I mean,
are.
he's only won one. Has he won a playoff game?
Okay,
One.
but like, he
He gives you that chance.
your standard's way too high.
yeah.
For the Browns.
But the idea is not just to be better than you've been; it's to be a winner.
Okay, the Jets
ultimately.
haven't been in the playoffs since like what?
Sanchez.
The long-
Sanchez.
2010,
We talk,
right?
yeah. The
If the
longest
Jets
round,
had
yeah.
Kirk Cousins' 6 best years, how many years would they have made the playoffs, Bull?
Probably 6 times.
Right, 4 at
so?
least. Yeah. We're talking about making the playoffs. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
dueling Mahomes in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe.
I mean, the
I don't
Browns have been
know.
in the playoffs 3 times since they came back, and that's more. That's more in the last almost 20 years than Jets. I mean, Sanchez was a
9
long
and 10.
time ago.
It was 9 and 10.
Yeah.
They
I was
went
going to
back.
say 9, but that
And he
didn't
wasn't
seem
any
right. But
good.
yeah, that's.
I can't believe they got to the AFC Championship game 2 years in a row.
Back to back with
him.
Rex Ryan.
Well, that one year they was just an all-time meltdown by the Chargers, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, well, they're known for that.
that was the year that people thought Philip could take it, and it was LaDainian, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Danian was still playing.
Yeah.